Gold back down from last week's highs and all eyes are still on China. Was gold's price action last week a precursor to a sustainable rally, or will this gold supportive price environment fade? Joining us from the CME today is Todd Bubba Horwitz. Welcome back to the show, Todd. Good to have you back.
It's great to be here. Happy New Year, Daniela. Always a pleasure to be on.
Thank you, Todd. Well, looking at gold, it's back down after hitting a 2-month high last week. It was a good run. Is the metal going to continue to flirt with this 1100 level? What price action do you foresee?
I see it definitely flirting with the 1100 level. I think, as we've said all along, when it was down at 1050 and 1060, it's a hard asset that you want to own here. It's not a fair trade. It's a good, solid asset that's found some levels, that's had every reason to be a beaten down commodity because of everything, the bad news, the dollar, the currency, all the things going on around the world have pushed the prices of commodities down, gold being one of them. It's a great time to own it. I think you've got a lot of reward to the upside with very little risk to the downside from here.
Well, look, you're on the floor of the CME right now. Tell us a little bit about what the sentiment towards the metal is like right now. Are we just seeing profit taking and short covering here, or are investors starting to believe in the metals complex again?
I think what you're seeing really is you're really seeing traders to believe. You know, there is no more true futures pits down here. There are options pits down here. But I think traders are actually starting really to believe that we've seen, again, all the bad news that you could throw at one particular product. Take a look at the overall Bloomberg Commodity Index, and gold is counted among the commodities. If you take a look at that, it's at 18-year lows. So when you take what's happened and you pour everything on top of it and you throw a 2-ton weight on top of that, and yet it still kind of resiliently doesn't make new contract lows and holds, that's usually a pretty good sign that no matter what more bad news could come to it, it looks like it wants to rally. And that's what I see. I see the opportunity for this to start going up slowly and picking up some momentum. There's some key levels along the way. It's got to get through 1140. It's got to get through 1180. But I think it'll hold this 1100. And if we can build a nice base here, I think higher prices are coming.
All right, turning to silver now. The metal has lost ground against gold, trading around a 5-month low against the yellow metal. I know silver was one of your favorites. What's your sentiment on the metal now?
You know, it's just, unfortunately, it's still one of my favorites. It doesn't logically compute. And again, this is where you have to get into fundamental analysis versus technical analysis. I let the fundamentals overplay my hand here and said to buy some, and I'm still buying. Again, I never commit all to one position, so I'm continuing to buy as it's going lower here. But technically, it has not been a buy yet. It hasn't been proved that it can hold the bottom. But it is very strange that a metal that's in demand, but yet the chain is not picking up the pricing. So there's something more going on, but I think it's got a lot to do with a lot of the manipulation that's going on around the globe between the Fed and the People's Bank of China and between the Eurozone. I think that's having a dramatic effect on all these as well. So overall, I'm still a buyer. I'm not going to try to get rich quick. Again, these are hard assets that I want to own for a long time, so I'm not going to worry about it here.
All right, to wrap, Todd, let's talk currency plays. Obviously, all eyes are on the yuan. The yen, in response, has moved higher from safe haven demand. The dollar, U.S. dollar, continues to trade near that $100 mark. What's the best currency play right now?
I think, well, let me put it this way. The bank's #1 currency play, the big commercials, is short the U.S. dollar. Now, I don't know if they're right or wrong. I don't think that's the bad play. I think my best currency player, if I were going to look, would be to probably short the euro around 110. I think that's awfully high for the euro. Or I like the Canadian loonie at just under 70 here. I think that's a very intriguing play. That's what I'm looking at, and I will be actually buying some Canadian here in the next day or so if we can hold this level, because I think that's a great play here. I don't want to be involved with the Chinese manipulation and what they're doing, because they're creating a whole bunch of havoc here, Daniela, with what they've done. And because they're manipulating their markets, it's hard to drag what they're going to really do. But I do like the loonie here a lot. I think it's coming to a spot that it hasn't been to.
Right. Well, lows last seen in August 2003, I believe. Todd, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
And thanks for watching this edition of Kitco's Gold Report. We'll see you tomorrow.